I stared at the glowing monitor until the words burned into my retinas. I refreshed the page. I logged out and logged back in. I even checked the raw data file, hoping I was just illiterate or stupid. But the result was the same. The website was cheerful. It had bright colors and little leaf icons. It was designed to tell people they were 15% Irish or that they had a second cousin in Ohio. It wasn't designed to tell a man that his entire life was a lie. I looked at the results for my oldest son, Leo, 8, 0% match. I looked at the results for my youngest, Sam, 6, 0% match. I didn't scream. I didn't smash the keyboard. I just felt the blood drain out of my face so fast I got dizzy. I had to grip the edge of my mahogany desk, the desk Sarah bought me for our 5th anniversary, to keep from sliding onto the floor. For 10 minutes, I couldn't breathe. My brain was cycling through a decade of memories like a corrupted hard drive. The nights I walked the floor with a colicky Leo. The time Sam broke his arm, and I held him while they set the cast, telling him he was brave like Superman. The way everyone always said, "Oh, they definitely get their dark eyes from Sarah, but they have my what? They have my nothing." I walked out of my office and stood in the hallway. I could hear them downstairs. Leo was shouting at the TV, playing Mario Kart, and I could hear Sarah laughing in the kitchen. She was blending something, probably a smoothie. The domestic normalcy of the sound made me want to vomit. I walked into the bathroom, locked the door, and dry heaved into the toilet for 5 minutes. Nothing came up but bile. When I washed my face, I looked in the mirror and saw a stranger. I'm 35. I thought I was a father of 2. I thought I was a husband to a faithful woman. I am none of those things. I am a wallet. I am a babysitter. I am a joke. Then the handle jiggled. "OP, you in there?" It was Sarah. Her voice was muffled through the wood. "Dinner's almost ready. Are you okay?" This was the moment. This was the fork in the road. Option A, I open the door, scream in her face, show her the printouts, and watch her cry. Option B, I shut up. Something cold took over my chest. It wasn't peace. It was the freezing numbness of absolute hatred. If I confronted her now, she'd cry. She'd blame me. She'd say it was a mistake. She'd gaslight me. She'd have time to hide money, delete messages, and poison the kids against me. I unlocked the door and opened it. I looked her right in the eyes. Those brown eyes I've woken up next to for 3,650 days. "Yeah, just a headache," I said. My voice sounded hollow to me, but she didn't notice. She smiled. She actually reached out and touched my arm. "Did you check the email? Did the ancestry results come in yet? I'm dying to know if I have any Greek in me." I didn't blink. "No, not yet. The site says there's a processing delay, probably another week or 2. "Ugh, annoying," she said, turning back toward the stairs. "Well, come eat." I made lasagna. I watched her walk away. I watched the woman who has apparently been lying to my face every single day for at least 8 years. And that's when the plan formed. The strategy. I went back into my office and did 3 things immediately. I forwarded all the DNA results to a secure new email address she doesn't know about, then changed the password to the Ancestry account so she can't log in and see them herself. I contacted the best family law attorney in the state. I paid the retainer fee from a separate account she doesn't monitor. I hired a private investigator. I need to know who. Is it one guy? Has she been having an affair with the same man for 9 years? Or is it 2 different men? Leo is 8. Sam is 6. That suggests a long-term relationship. And looking at my boys now, I see it. I finally see it. They don't look like me. They have a sharper jawline than I do. They have a specific nose shape. The PI, a guy named Miller, picked up on the first ring. I told him everything. "I need to know who the biological father is," I told him. "And I need to know if she's still seeing him. If she is, we'll catch her," Miller said. "Give me 48 hours. The ticking clock. Here is why I'm waiting. In exactly 14 days, my parents are hosting a massive family reunion. It's their 40th anniversary, combined with a general family gathering. My parents, her parents, aunts, uncles, cousins, people fly in from out of state for this. It's a huge deal. Sarah loves these things. She loves playing the role of the perfect mom. She loves showing off the boys. She loves the way her mother brags about what a good provider I am. If I divorce her now, quietly, she spins the narrative. She tells everyone we grew apart or that I was emotionally distant. She becomes the victim. No, I want witnesses. I am currently sitting at the dinner table. We just finished eating. Sarah is showing Leo a funny video on her phone. They are both laughing. The light from the screen illuminates their faces, faces that share DNA, faces that belong to a stranger. She just looked up at me and asked, "Honey, are you sure you're okay? You've hardly touched your food." I cut a piece of lasagna and put it in my mouth. "It tastes like ash." "I'm fine," I said, forcing a smile that felt like it was cracking my face. "Just thinking about the reunion. I really want to make it memorable this year." She beamed. "Me too. It's going to be perfect." She has no idea that I've already drafted the divorce papers. She has no idea that Miller is currently running a trace on her call logs. And she has no idea that in 2 weeks, everyone she loves is going to know exactly what she is. I'm going to pretend to be the loving husband for 13 more days. It is going to be the hardest thing I've ever done. But every time I look at her, I don't see my wife anymore. I see a target. Update 1. The poker face and the gathered storm. The last 14 days have been an exercise in pure sociopathy. I didn't know I was capable of looking someone in the eye, saying, "I love you," and internally screaming. I think a part of my soul died this, but it was a necessary sacrifice to get to today. Here is what happened between the discovery and the party. The PI report. 3 days after I hired Miller, he asked to meet me at a diner 2 towns over. He didn't look happy. He slid a manila envelope across the sticky table. "You're not going to like this," Miller said, taking a sip of black coffee. "But you probably already guessed it." I opened the folder. Photos. Grainy, long lens photos, but clear enough. They were taken in a hotel parking lot. My wife, Sarah, kissing a man. Not a quick peck. A passionate, gripping each other kind of kiss. I knew the man immediately. It was Mark, her work husband, the guy she's been working with for 9 years, the guy who came to our backyard BBQs and drank my beer, the guy who I once joked was part of the family. "They meet every Tuesday," Miller said flatly. "She tells you she has a late sync meeting with the West Coast team, right?" "Yeah," I whispered, "every Tuesday. She goes to the Holiday Inn Express off exit 4. Mark meets her there. They stay for exactly 2 hours. Miller then pulled out the dagger. He had done a quick background check on Mark has type O negative blood. You're A positive. Sarah is A positive. I'm not a biologist, but I know how genetics work generally. But then he showed me a photo of Mark from 10 years ago, side by side with a photo of my oldest son, Leo. The nose, the slightly hooded eyes. It wasn't just a resemblance. It was a photocopy. I had been raising Mark's kids for 8 years. While he got to be the cool uncle who bought them loud toys, I was the one up at 3 a.m. cleaning up vomit. I was the one paying for braces. I was the one teaching them to ride bikes. I paid Miller in cash. "Keep tracking her," I said. "I want to know every time she sneezes." The financial firewall. My lawyer, Rachel, is a shark. When I told her the plan for the reunion, she didn't laugh. She just nodded. "If you do this, it's going to be nuclear. We need to secure your exit before you drop the bomb." On her advice, I walked into the bank on Friday and opened a new account solely in my name. I transferred exactly 50% of our savings into it. Not a penny more, not a penny less. Rachel said taking more could look bad to a judge, but taking half is just protecting my share of marital assets. Then, I removed myself as an authorized user on her credit card. I canceled the joint card we use for household expenses, the one she uses to book those Tuesday meetings at the hotel. Living with the enemy. The hardest part wasn't the logistics, it was the nights. Sarah was in a great mood all week. She was affectionate. She kept touching my arm, rubbing my back. Wednesday night, she tried to initiate sex. She came out of the bathroom wearing that black lace thing "You've been so tense lately," she purred, crawling onto the bed. "Let me help you." I physically recoiled. My skin felt like it was crawling with ants. I pretended to cough. I sat up, rubbing my I can't, Sarah. My head is splitting. Work is killing me. The merger is a mess. She sighed, disappointed. You work too hard, honey. You need to de-stress. The irony. If she only knew that my work stress was actually me building a dossier to ruin her. She rolled over and went to sleep. I lay there for 3 hours, staring at the ceiling fan, listening to the breathing of a woman who had successfully duped me for a decade. I wanted to wake her up. I wanted to strangle her, but I just lay there, rehearsing my speech. The day of the reunion today. We drove to my parents' house around 1 p.m. It's a beautiful day. Sunny, 75 degrees. The kind of day you see in commercials for life insurance. The backyard was packed. My mom had set up the big white tent. There were streamers, a catered taco bar. Sarah's parents were there too. Her dad, Bob, clapped me on the shoulder as soon as we walked in. There he is, the hardest working man in the business, Bob boomed. He loves me. He's always telling Sarah she won the lottery with me. I smiled. Good to see you, Bob. Enjoy it, I thought. In an hour, you're going to have a heart attack. Sarah was in her element. She was wearing a floral sundress, holding a glass of white wine, floating from group to group. She looked beautiful. That's the sickest part. Evil doesn't look like a monster. It looks like the mother of your children laughing at a joke. I watched her hug my mom. I watched her fix Leo's collar. It was all a performance, and I was about to bring down the curtain. The gift. At 4:30 p.m., after everyone had eaten and the sun was starting to dip, I went to the car. I retrieved the box. It was a jewelry box, wrapped in silver paper with a white bow. Inside, it wasn't a necklace. Inside were 3 pieces of paper folded neatly. The DNA results for me and my sons. The printout of the PI's photos of her and Mark at the hotel. A petition for divorce. I walked back into the tent. I grabbed a spoon and a champagne flute. Cling, cling, cling. The chatter died down. 40 people turned to look at me. My parents, her parents, my sister, her brother. The kids were running around on the grass behind us. Everyone, if I could have your attention for a moment, I said. My voice was steady, too steady. I felt like I was floating outside my body. Sarah turned to me, her eyes lighting up when she saw the silver box in my hand. She put a hand to her chest. She mouthed, "What are you doing?" She thought it was an anniversary surprise. She thought I was going to make some grand romantic gesture. As you know, I started, looking around the circle of faces, family is the most important thing in the world to us. Honesty, loyalty, and blood. Hear, hear, my dad shouted, raising his beer. I looked at Sarah. I smiled. It didn't reach my eyes. Sarah has been working so hard lately. Late nights, client meetings on Tuesdays. I put a slight emphasis on Tuesday. She frowned slightly, just a micro expression of confusion. She didn't catch it yet. And since we bought those DNA kits for fun a few weeks ago, I thought it would be fitting to share the results with everyone here. Since we are all family, Sarah's face went white. Not pale, white. The glass of wine in her hand tilted, just a fraction. I have a special gift for you, Sarah, I said, holding out the box. Why don't you open it in front of everyone? The silence in the backyard was heavy. You could hear the wind in the trees. She didn't move. She stared at the box like it was a bomb. Go on, honey, her mom urged, nudging her. Open it. Sarah took a step forward. Her hands were shaking so bad she could barely hold the box. She looked at me, and for the first time, she saw it. She saw the hate. She saw the knowledge. She whispered, so low only I could hear, "Please, don't." I smiled. Open it. Update 2. The explosion. Truth is the foundation of love. That's what I said. I was standing there, holding my champagne glass, looking at 40 faces that were beaming at me. My parents looked proud. Her parents looked expectant. Sarah was staring at the box in my hands like it was radioactive. Go on, I said, my voice cutting through the humid afternoon air. Open it. She didn't move. Her breathing was shallow. She knew. Somewhere deep down, she knew the gig was up. But she had to play the part. If she refused to open a gift in front of everyone, she looked crazy. If she opened it, she was dead. She was trapped in a cage of her own making. I don't feel well, she stammered, clutching her stomach. Can we do this later? Nonsense. Her mother, Barbara, chimed in. Barbara is a woman who loves drama and spectacle, provided it reflects well on her. Don't be silly, Sarah. He went to all this trouble. Open the box. Sarah's hand shook so violently that the silver wrapping paper crinkled loudly in the silence. She undid the white bow. She lifted the lid. She looked inside. I watched her eyes scan the top document. It was the paternity test for Leo, 0% match. Then the second document, Sam, 0% match. Then the photos, the grainy, undeniable shots of her kissing Mark in the Holiday Inn parking lot. And finally, the divorce petition, stamped and filed. She didn't scream. She didn't cry. She just froze. The color drained from her face so completely she looked like a wax figure. She quickly tried to slam the lid back on the box. "Oh, wow," she said, her voice cracking, high and hysterical. It's a voucher for a trip. We need to talk about the dates later." She tried to shove the box behind her back, but Barbara wasn't having it. "Let me see. Where are you going? Hawaii?" Barbara snatched the box from Sarah's trembling hands before she could stop her. "Mom, no!" Sarah lunged, but it was too late. Barbara pulled out the stack of papers. She adjusted her reading glasses. The silence that followed was heavy. It was a physical weight pressing down on the tent. I watched Barbara's face transform. Confusion, then shock, then absolute, unadulterated horror. She looked at the photos. She looked at the DNA results. She looked at Sarah. "Sarah," Barbara whispered. The sound carried across the yard. Who are these children?" Sarah burst into tears, ugly, heaving sobs. "It's a mistake. The lab made a mistake. He's trying to trick me." She pointed a shaking finger at me. "He forged them. He's lying," the crowd murmured. My dad stood up, looking confused. "OP? What is going on?" I didn't yell. I didn't get angry. I felt lighter than I had in weeks. I took a step back. "They aren't my kids, Dad," I said, loud enough for everyone to hear. "I haven't been a father for 8 years. I've been a babysitter for Mark's children." I pointed at the photos in Barbara's hand. "She's been sleeping with her co-worker for a decade. The DNA proves it. The PI proves it." Sarah ran toward me, grabbing my arm. "Stop it! Stop it right now! You're ruining everything. We can fix this." I looked down at her hand on my arm, the hand that wore my ring, the hand that had touched another man for years. I gently but firmly peeled her fingers off my jacket. "There is nothing to fix," I said. "You broke it. You broke it every Tuesday at the Holiday Inn." I looked around the stunned crowd. Her dad was sitting in his chair, hand over his mouth. My mom was crying. The kids, Leo and Sam, were still playing tag by the fence, completely oblivious that their world had just ended. That hurt. That was the only part that hurt. "She's not my wife anymore," I said to the group, "and this isn't my family." I reached into my pocket, pulled out my house key, and dropped it into her empty wine glass on the table. Clink. "Enjoy the party." I turned around and walked toward the driveway. Behind me, chaos erupted. I heard Sarah screaming my name. I heard Barbara yelling at Sarah. I heard a glass shatter. I got into my car, locked the doors, and drove away. I didn't look in the rearview mirror. Final update. The aftermath. 6 months later. It has been exactly 184 days since the reunion. I am writing this from a small apartment in the city. It's quiet here. There are no toys on the floor. There is no laughter in the kitchen. But there are no lies either. The divorce. The divorce was finalized in record time. Sarah tried to fight it at first. She hired a lawyer who tried to argue that since I had acted as the father for 8 years, I was equitable father and owed child support. My lawyer, Rachel, destroyed that argument. In our state, paternity fraud is taken seriously. Because I had proof of the affair and the DNA evidence proving I was deceived into signing the birth certificates, the judge was not sympathetic to Sarah. We settled. She got the minivan. I got the car. We had to sell the house. After paying off the mortgage and the debts she had run up on her secret credit cards, there wasn't much equity left. We split what remained 50-50. She tried to go after my retirement. She got nothing. She tried to get alimony. She got nothing. The fallout for Sarah. Her life imploded. Barbara and Bob are old school conservative Christians. Infidelity is a sin. Passing off another man's bastard children as your husband's is a mortal transgression. They were humiliated in front of their entire extended family. They didn't completely disown her, but they are low contact. They refused to let her move in with them. She lost her job. Apparently, having an affair with a subordinate, Mark, on company time isn't looked upon kindly by HR, especially when the PI report gets sent anonymously to the ethics hotline. She is currently living in a rental apartment, working as a receptionist. The biological father. Once the paternity tests were public record, Mark's life fell apart too. He was married. His wife divorced him immediately. Mark is now being sued by Sarah for backdated child support for 2 children he didn't know he had. Good luck to him. He can pay for the braces now. The kids. This is the part everyone asks about. This is the part that keeps me up at night. Do I miss them? Every single second. I loved Leo and Sam. I wiped their tears. I taught them to read, but I cannot look at them without seeing the betrayal. I cannot look at them without seeing Mark. When I moved out, I went no contact. Sarah tried to use them as pawns. She would have them leave voicemails. Daddy, when are you coming home? Daddy, Mom says you're mad at us. It shattered me. But I knew that if I stayed in their lives, I would be bitter. I would resent them, and that's not fair to them. They deserve a father who loves them 100%, not a man who looks at them and sees a living reminder of his wife's whorishness. I sent them a letter, read by their therapist. I told them I loved them, that none of this was their fault, but that I had to go away for a while. I have not seen them since the party. I blocked Sarah's number. I blocked her email. Conclusion. People ask me if I regret doing it so publicly. If I regret blowing up the family? No. If I had done it quietly, she would have manipulated the truth. She would have told the boys I abandoned them. She would have told our friends I was having a midlife crisis. By doing it at the reunion, I ensured the truth was the only narrative. I am 35. I am single. I have half my savings and a quiet apartment. It's lonely. But last night, I went on a date for the first time. She's nice. She's honest. And when I look in the mirror now, I don't see a fool anymore. I see a man who survived. The truth set me free. It destroyed her. But she built her castle on a swamp of lies. It was bound to sink eventually. I just sped up the process.